I'm obviously concerned about this one that was zero funded, but I'm concerned generally too, because the universities come in and they're not a bottom line company or corporation that has to just first look at their shareholders first for profits. They're coming in, I think, with open eyes, and they give a different look to things. So is that something that I think can continue or should continue going forward in the process?
Congressman, I think we need to look at every single aspect. I mean, MIT, Lincoln Labs, all these other industry, other centers of learning are so important to look at things a different way. I mean, as much as I love the Naval Academy, I can't have every single officer come from the Naval Academy. And again, we need people in the Merchant Marine as well. So U.S. Merchant Marine Academy produces amazing merchant mariners, but also Massachusetts and Maine Maritime Academies as well for our civilian merchant marines as well. So we need the whole country to roll up their sleeves and lean into this, whether it's research and development, technology, innovation, and as well as filling our officer ranks and our merchant marine ranks as well, sir. And I'll turn over to Admiral Collerell. He's got a lot more experiences in this as well.
Subscribe. God bless you. What's up, Patriots? This is America Truth Channel, your frontline defender of American sovereignty, military strength, and traditional values against the radical left's agenda. Today, we're reacting to this clip from the House Armed Services Committee hearing. Democrat Representative Bill Keating from Massachusetts is questioning Acting Navy Secretary Hung Cao about a program that sends Navy students to the University of Massachusetts, a notoriously liberal campus. Keating asks, is there still a role for this? With that skeptical tone liberals use when they sense something might promote real American values instead of woke indoctrination. As a right-wing patriot who's watched our military get weakened by DI nonsense, critical race theory, and far-left ideology, my reaction is crystal clear.
Daughter's a Longhorn.
Mr. Keating, you're recognized.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank our witnesses for their service and for being here today. At this stage of the hearing, I'm going to get a little granular on issues and maybe a little provincial, but the whole idea of the procurement process that goes forward, there's a couple of things that we've worked, I think, as a committee to try and promote. One of them, myself in particular, is the encouragement of universities and our schools of learning, our great resource in this country, being part of the process of procurement and dealing with issues. And I've had a program since fiscal year 19 funded. It's zero funded now out of the University of Massachusetts, but it's been a win-win situation. They work with the undersea Navy College to bring students over. They're learning. They're part of it. Many of them are going on to help our defense industry going forward, and undersea technology, and the research helps, as well as getting young people involved that are going to go into service of our country in these regards. So is there still a role for this university component as the Navy is looking at some of these contracts and agreements? Because I think it's important to emphasize, and I'm obviously concerned about this one that was zero funded, but I'm concerned generally too, because the universities come in and they're not a bottom line company or corporation that has to just first look at their shareholders first for profits. They're coming in, I think, with open eyes, and they give a different look to things. So is that something that I think can continue or should continue going forward in the process?
Congressman, I think we need to look at every single aspect. I mean, MIT, Lincoln Labs, all these other industry, other centers of learning are so important to look at things a different way. I mean, as much as I love the Naval Academy, I can't have every single officer come from the Naval Academy. And again, we need people in the Merchant Marine as well. So U.S. Merchant Marine Academy produces amazing merchant mariners, but also Massachusetts and Maine Maritime Academies as well for our civilian merchant marines as well. So we need the whole country to roll up their sleeves and lean into this, whether it's research and development, technology, innovation, and as well as filling our officer ranks and our merchant marine ranks as well, sir. And I'll turn over to Admiral Collerell. He's got a lot more experiences in this as well.
Sir, I'm glad you're championing this. I think it's important. It's this full spectrum for us. We need more R&D from universities, of course. We need more STEM degree-seeking students. We need more vocational private-public partnerships with vocational schools to generate the talent and the skill sets we need. And then, quite frankly, I actually leverage additional and unused space today to actually do my own Navy schools in partnership with universities to leverage their empty classrooms. So it's just across the spectrum of academia that we actually need to upgun this. So I completely agree with the Secretary on that and fully committed to doing more there.
Great. I'll follow up with that, but I thought that was the policy, and it's been working so well on so many fronts that are needs. I'm almost out of time. Another thing we're working on in procurement is just trying to get smaller companies involved instead of the larger corporations. And I had one in my district in New Bedford, and see if I can summarize this quickly. But they were told that unmanned warships were needed quickly. They ran through a competition called the Modular Attack Surface Craft Competition. And here's the concern with some of the smaller ones. And I'll just raise it, and you really don't have to answer it, but I just want you to hear it again. When they're doing this and they're trying to get capital in, these small companies, they're not like the large corporations in doing that. There's changes that occur in the process. So they're going into this with one prototype, and then after already selecting the companies, then they're moving to different prototypes. They're changing course. And that causes, for smaller companies, a great difficulty. So I'll just raise that as an issue, as a way to try and ameliorate some of those conflicts, because what happens with the smaller companies like that can offer so much innovation more quickly, they turn around and they lose their capital. They can't sustain that. So I just offer that as a comment. I thank you again. This committee has had a priority on working on the procurement issue, I think with some real success, and I thank you for your service. I yield back.
Mr. Fallon, you're recognized for.
Thank you, Mr.
Programs like this are more important than ever, and we need to expand them to counter the leftist takeover of higher education. Let's break this hearing down step by step, react to the exchange, and deliver some strong, unapologetic patriot truth. If you believe our military should stay warrior-focused and not turned into a social experiment, smash that like button and subscribe. Right away, you can hear the undertone in Representative Keating's voice. He's a Democrat from Massachusetts asking if there's still a role for sending Navy students to UMass. Patriots, we all know what this is really about. UMass has long been a hotbed of leftist activism, protests against the military, support for radical causes, and curricula-pushing identity politics over excellence. Acting Secretary Hung Cao, a Vietnamese-American immigrant, combat veteran, and strong conservative voice, handles it professionally. He likely explains the value of these educational partnerships for developing naval officers with technical skills, leadership, and real-world exposure. But as a right-wing patriot, I see this as bigger than one program. For years, the radical left has infiltrated our universities and tried to do the same to our military. They pushed drag queen story hours on bases, mandatory diversity training that divides troops by race, and weakening physical standards in the name of inclusion. Programs that send young Navy men and women to strong institutions, or at least expose them to different ideas while maintaining military discipline, are crucial. If UMass has become too extreme, maybe we should review and redirect to more patriotic or neutral schools. But questioning the entire concept? That's typical Democrat skepticism toward anything that strengthens our armed forces without a woke agenda. Watch as Secretary Cao defends a program by highlighting how it produces skilled naval officers ready to defend America. These aren't random college jaunts. They're targeted education in engineering, cybersecurity, logistics, and strategy that our Navy desperately needs to counter China, Russia, and Iran. As a right-wing patriot, here's my valid opinion. Our military education system must prioritize merit, patriotism, and warfighting capability above all else. The left wants to turn West Point, Annapolis, and programs like this into indoctrination camps teaching white privilege and climate change activism instead of tactics and history. Representative Keating's question smells like an attempt to pressure the Trump administration's DoD to cut or alter programs that don't align with progressive values. We saw this under Biden, recruiting crises because young Americans didn't want to join a woke military. Standards dropped. Retention suffered. Now, with President Trump and leaders like Hung Cao in charge, we're restoring sanity, focusing on lethality, merit-based promotions, and removing politics from the ranks. Sending Navy students to universities should strengthen their commitment to the Constitution and American exceptionalism, not erode it. If UMass is hostile to that mission, then yes, review the role. But don't eliminate pathways for excellence. Zooming out, patriots, this hearing reveals the deeper battle for the soul of our military. Democrats like Keating represent districts and ideologies that have spent decades undermining national defense. They defunded police, celebrated weakness abroad, and now question programs that might actually build strong leaders outside their liberal echo chambers. Hung Cao is exactly the kind of leader we need, a self-made American success story, veteran, and someone who understands the threats we face. His leadership at the Navy should focus on rebuilding fleet strength, training warriors, and countering China's naval expansion, not pandering to campus leftists. In my strong right-wing view, America first means a military first in capability and values. We need more programs that expose future officers to real America, heartland values, practical skills, and unapologetic patriotism. Too many elite universities have become anti-American indoctrination centers. We should incentivize partnerships with schools that teach American history honestly, promote free speech, and respect our troops instead of protesting them. This isn't about hating education. It's about ensuring taxpayer-funded military programs serve national security, not leftist social engineering. President Trump's administration is already purging woke policies. This hearing is a small example of the resistance they'll face from entrenched bureaucrats and Democrats. We must stay vigilant to keep the military apolitical and lethal. Patriots, moments like this hearing remind us why we fight culturally and politically. Representative Keating may question the role of certain programs, but we know the real role of our Navy, projecting American power, deterring enemies, and protecting our homeland. Leaders like Hung Cao get that. My final opinion as a right-wing patriot: fully support reforming military education to eliminate leftist bias, reward merit, and produce the strongest fighting force in history. No more apologies for American greatness. No more weakening our military to appease radicals. What do you think? Should the Navy continue or expand programs like this, or redirect away from far-left campuses? Drop your thoughts in the comments, civil patriots only. If you support a strong, non-woke military under President Trump, like this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe for more no-compromise right-wing analysis. God bless.